pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Friends and family, yes, savvy investors out there, we have a family member in the house. Not my family, but the family of Oklahoma City. Please welcome Ron Harris. He is a family man because he loves everyone. I think he has so many little kids running around, not by sexual relations, but I would say I'm one of his kids because he likes to spend time with me and love on me and give me some tips on technology. I get a lot of great information. And when Ron and I get together, 3 hours rolls by. So we're going to keep this fast and the furious. We are not, this is not scripted at all. He has no idea what questions. I just told him that I'm going to do a quick intro and he smashed me on it. So even better, he wouldn't let me say how many units he has. Even better, because we're going to get to know Ron. But just real quick, if you've never heard of Ron Harris in Oklahoma City, he is a real deal entrepreneur. If you don't know what that is, Google it up. You can't spell it. Google will tell you what it is. He's been in real estate since 2007. I asked him how many units. He's like, over 10, less than 100. I love that. They're in trust, they're hidden, and they disappear. Even better. Within this last 2 years, himself and his wife, Angelina, have a brokerage. They got their brokerage license.
I don't. My wife does.
Yes,
I just the cheerleader.
Yeah, totally. And I don't know how we have to get her on the show gangster style because she knows how to vet tenants. How does she have a day job as an HR person, run a brokerage, and live with you?
And manage properties.
And manage
me.
And
wake me up.
And let's get to part 2, coaching. You guys have a passion to help people and get them from point A to point B. May it be real estate or just self-development, right? And
all the above, yep.
And all that stuff. And you've spoken on a cruise, several cruises as a real estate investor. That is a milestone. I think would be pretty stoked to tell people. Anyway, so Ron, you the way I've known you, I've met you through the real estate associations, and I've seen you at every effing event that's known to man that has relatively business oriented. And how I know you is that your shtick, I guess you could call it, is technology. You really have mastered and worked the 4-hour work week. You don't wake up to noon every time. It was kind of like a joke around town. But the funny, cool thing is that you're waking up earlier now.
That's true.
But kind of not for this interview because I try to get you to come early in the morning. And you're like, nah.
We had our holiday party yesterday. I was like, oh, man, it's going to be so hard.
So we're doing it in the afternoon. So technology, you leverage technology a lot. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you come from? I know your dad's an entrepreneur. I think that's so cool that he showed up to a entrepreneur meeting the other day. But tell me about your relationship with him. How'd you get in business, and why don't you have a day job?
It's all my dad's fault. Him being an entrepreneur and having multi-million-dollar software companies and computer companies. I joke with people, if you watch Big Bang Theory, I was the Sheldon Cooper in high school. I wore the computer shirts. I wore the high-water jeans. I had all this free stuff. I literally had a computer in my crib. I was born with it.
So you're a nerd?
I'm a super nerd and a geek, all the above.
But you look like Fu Manchu now.
Well, because it wasn't until college I discovered girls, and I had to, I got to comb my hair and learn how to talk differently and learn some new things in life. But that was being a super nerd. I grew up around computers and all that.
So growing up with a dad that he's an entrepreneur in the real estate, in the software sector.
Computer industry, yeah.
Computer engineer. So did you ride with him? Did you listen in on his phone calls? How did you become an entrepreneur? And you have a degree, right?
No degrees. I went to college to become an architect. I thought I was awesome in architecture. Won all these awards and stuff in high school. Got a scholarship to OU, and I realized that all my things of not being able to get up in the morning because of architecture, our students are usually up real late and get up late. That's where I get all my. That's why I'm screwed up today, is because of all that. My dad said it was a modem that really caused the problem. But there were modems back then. Bulletin
300
boards.
BSPI or BPS.
Yeah. And so I found out I couldn't slide in college. So getting up for history class at 8 o'clock in the morning just didn't work for me. And I found out really quick, if you don't go to class, you don't pass. So I flunked out 2 years in a row in college and realized I'm not ready. This isn't for me. What am I going to do? Well,
Cool.
I'm really good at this computer crap. I'm going to go back to this computer stuff. So working for my dad for $7 an hour for years and honing my craft and people skills, which was the most valuable lesson.
And IT is your thing, right? Is that what you were doing a lot for your dad?
Yeah, I was IT. Yeah, I mean, I'm an IT guru. No certifications like that. I was just naturally trained, and so that was my life plan for a long time. And then I realized I had the dream job. I used to work for this bank, and I showed up when I wanted to, left when I wanted to, did what I wanted to, had an unlimited budget. I could do what I wanted to. I broke the rules. They made rule changes in HR, and I had the dream job, making really good money,
Is that
all
where
kinds of benefits, all kinds of
Wait a
stuff.
minute, let's get back to the benefits. Is that where you met your wife?
That's where I met my wife.
That is a benefit. So you have no degree.
She tried to get me fired.
Probably.
That's how I didn't like her. At
She's
first, I was
real.
like,
She's
"Who
a
the heck
ball
is-"
breaker. She breaks me. I ask. Never mind. I don't want to get into it. So okay, let me get this straight. You have no degree. You learn IT, this trade, through your dad and
Natural
through
talent, right?
through just practicing, reading a few books, and failing and succeeding in that industry. You get a job at a bank. Is it a local bank, nationwide bank?
Local community bank now.
So it's a community bank.
Yeah, they changed their charter. Yeah.
So Angelina is your wife. She worked there at the time when
No,
you
no,
were-
okay, so here I was, this IT guy doing all this stuff and breaking all the rules and whatever, and just, I mean, I was dedicated to the job. I was the captain of the ship. That's why they trusted me with everything. I mean, they trusted me, and I treated it very serious. She came in as an HR intern, and they hired her, and she saw the one guy breaking all the rules. She said, hey, she started getting me fired because I was not coming in on time. She's like, because she never saw me.
Like, why is he here?
Yeah, why is he here? And so I
Or
was
why
like,
are we paying him? I guess.
I was like, who's this girl messing with me? This young 21-year-old girl trying to mess with me. Who is this? Turns out she was the best thing ever for me. So
She is. All right. So okay, how'd you get the? Okay, so you entrepreneur. Did you set goals back then? Did you think you were going to own a real estate? I mean, I keep saying real estate.
not
The
even
software.
not in the radar at all. My dad was always real big about me reading books and self-development. He used to drag me around to all these conventions. I met Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and all those guys. I had no idea who these guys, because I was a kid. I was like,
That's
man,
awesome.
who are all these old men?
They're amazing.
They're amazing. Now I'm like, Dad, I mean, I had to thank my dad. I actually got publicly to do that one time because it was such a life-changing event. Because when I was in school, when I was in third grade, the teachers told me I was stupid, and when you don't have any defense mechanisms, it really screws you up. So it
you start believing
screwed
it.
me up, and so my dad uprooted all where we lived and moved me to the north side of Oklahoma City with all the better schools and started plugging me into self-development. And so it took years and years.
How
and
old
years.
were you then?
That was fourth grade, so however old that was.
Oh,
fourth
Okay,
grade.
That's
yeah.
awesome. 10,
Yeah.
11. Man, your dad's awesome. I think I saw him. He's a white guy, right?
Yeah,
And you're mixed.
silver hair. He's silver head. Yeah,
Because you're kind of
Asian-y.
Asian-y. Well, Fu Manchu. I love the beard.
I'm only half Asian, but I look more Asian than full bloods because I have Fu Manchu. But I don't drive a Honda. I have a Corvette. I'm not your standard Asian, I guess. I'm kind of
All
weird.
right, we're bouncing around. Okay, so radar, real estate is not on your radar. How'd you get into real estate? Was it a book?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Here we
I read
go.
it, wasn't ready for it, shelved that knowledge. When I was at the bank, I was becoming miserable because I realized that I would not, if I kept doing it, even though I was naturally talented, that one day I could be the dinosaur. I could be that guy that gets phased out. And I realized I needed to do something different. And Angelina, at the time, I started dating her, and she kind of recognized I was a little depressed. She was like, you need to find something to do, some hobby or something. And
And you had your IT on autopilot.
yeah, I mean,
It was easy.
I was the guy that had to do everything. I was the captain of the ship, so I'd stay there until really late fixing stuff, and then wake up late. But the Rich Dad Poor Dad, let me read that again. And that idea of having passive income from real estate really lit me on fire. So we started going. We went to things line up. God lines things up, and there was a seminar that came up, and we went to it. And
And
get
so,
motivated.
the passive income wasn't coming from your dad at all. That came from the book, because he was an entrepreneur. Did he have passive income through the software?
yeah, I mean, the computer industry
but
changed.
you probably didn't
but-
click. It didn't at that time.
Well, and I wasn't going to get any of that. That's
Sure.
my
So
dad.
you wasn't okay.
Yeah.
So you're still. I mean, you were hustling for $7 an hour with him.
Him, well, at the bank, I was probably back
Well,
at
yeah.
that time. I was making a lot
Whatever.
more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you read the Rich Dad Poor Dad. Did you get plugged in anywhere? Can you remember the steps?
Get
This is-
Motivated had a seminar come through town where Zig Ziglar and those guys came through, and we went there.
Peter
And
Lowe.
they had one of those little $100 3-day boot camps, about real estate investing, and let's go. Of course, they're trying to sell you those $10,000, $20,000, $50,000.
And this was a Rich Dad Poor Dad one.
This was not a Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was, I don't even know who it was. M2 Advantage, some other.
Oh, it
kind
was
of-
James Smith.
Is that who? Okay, I have no idea. Yeah.
Jay Smith, yes. I know.
Okay.
I was at that Get Motivated seminar. Okay,
yeah.
so you went to that, and you
went to
actually
that.
went to class, and
Yeah.
you got on fire.
Went on fire. Yeah.
So then what? Did you buy
Buy our first rental property in 2007.
How'd you find it? How'd you finance it?
My aunt. Sometimes people throw things in your way, and you just got to get in the way. You get hit by it, and so my aunt was wanting to get rid of her house, and she said, "You want to buy it?" I said, "Heck yeah!" So I made her an offer, and she says, "You're." She wanted to lower the price.
Because you're family.
I was like, her name is Patty. I said, Patty, I can't do that. I got to pay you a little bit more. That Turns out she was right. I should have paid less, but never buy a house
And
with
give
an
them
apartment
more.
complex behind it. Bad idea.
I know. Actually, my second property I ever owned was next door to an apartment building, and I lived there, and it got broken into
A lot.
all the time. It was they just sit there and watch you all day.
Yeah.
All right, so how'd you finance?
Well, the bank. I mean, I was working at a bank, so I said, "Hey guys, I'm looking but get real estate." They said, "Okay." So they gave me my very first deal. Not only they
Well,
gave
you
me
worked
more than I needed. So I know I got the purchase price, I got the repair money, and I walked out with like five grand. So I was like, "This is incredible." I
At
had to put
closing?
nothing down,
And you were single at the time,
single at the time. Yeah, dating
And
Angelina at the time.
and so do you still have that rental property?
I still have it today, but I've owned because it's a dog now because it kept getting broken into. We've owner financed it out.
So
12% interest, whatever, 30-year
give
fixed.
it to somebody.
Yeah.
All right. When I first started really getting to know you, meeting you at the RIAs and stuff, you ran a roundtable on private lending,
Oh yeah.
and that was your thing, and you were coaching a lot of students at the time
I've
about
raised
private
millions
money.
of dollars doing that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
walk me through your private money. How'd you get a hold of that, or how'd you hear about it? And bank loan was so easy for you. Why'd you switch to private money?
Well, I was doing more real estate transactions, and there was a deal that with my banker at the bank was trying to get me a big line of credit back then, like $100,000, instead of just one deal at a time. And because of that kind of threw some red flags. And those red flags, senior manager, my upper boss, my second boss, detected that and said, "Nix the deal." I was going to this is a good segue. One of the deals I was going to make $33,000. I already had it sold. I didn't even have it bought. It was a short sale. I already had it sold, and I was going to make $33,000. And just within a week of closing, the bank said, "We're not going to fund it." I was like, "What the?"
Yeah. What was the reason?
Well, because they assumed that I was taking real estate more serious than my job.
Okay, so they try to control you,
control me. Yeah,
control
Yeah.
your future life.
Right.
La da da.
And so that kind of lit my ass on fire, and I didn't have all the relationships set up like I do today with bankers and that kind of stuff. I didn't know. I mean, I just had that one. So all my lines of credit, all my other stuff was all tapped out. My actual cash was tapped out, and I was pretty fortunate. I had cash myself, and so I was like, what am I going to do? And, this private lending thing they're talking about, I better learn about this really quick. So I learned really quick.
You talking about the week of?
The week I went to other banks, no, they couldn't make this. I was like, guys, I'm gonna make $33,000, and it's a deal for everyone else. And I
So
didn't
it was like
understand.
you need a short term flip. Is that what the deal?
I really needed transactional funding, but it wasn't
That's
really
all it
around.
is. So you were okay. So this bank where you worked at for so many years, worked
Nixed
late
me.
at night. You already got pre-approved. They said, "Hey, we're gonna fund this deal. You're just gonna basically fund it and then pay it right back
Right.
within that day, probably,
Right.
just to close it to flip
And
it."
that wasn't the issue. The issue was
Who you were as an employee.
Was I taking real estate more? Moonlighting as a real estate investor.
Okay, so now
Which they helped me get started too. So it's a good bank, but they just
it's a great bank because they fired you. No, I'm just playing. No, they fired you in your mind.
Yeah.
Not you personally, but they
Right.
fired you in your mind. Like, okay, now you when you get fired, now you perform.
Right.
Set the boat behind you on fire. You ain't
Right.
coming back.
Right.
Okay, so now you have a week to come up with how much? Do you remember how much it was? Well, if you're going to make $33,000, so it had to be more than 33.
It was like $88,000, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so roughly.
The house was like 140 or something like that. 130.
Okay, so then what'd you do? You started reading online about private money.
Man, I started knocking on doors. I started going to banks, and they all kept saying no. And then I went to get lines of credit, and they all said no. And then I ran into this. There's this gentleman that was at the time going around, and he was kind of a hard money lender, but / he wasn't really. Went there, and he said, "I'll fund your deal." And it wasn't hard money. It was like, I don't know what do you call it. It was soft money. I don't know.
Or transaction funding.
Yeah.
So
Cost me a little bit extra. Cost like another $600 or $1,000, but
and
got
so
the deal
and so
done.
you just ran the deal past him.
Right.
What it was, where you were closing,
Mm-hmm.
and he wired the money or showed up with a cashier's check.
Yeah, wired all the money. The transaction happened, and then that led on. That led on to some other some things with working with this other guy, and then that's a whole different story. Then I get screwed later on deals and stuff. But
so, like, what kind of paperwork was there on that transaction? So you had it under contract. You were already flipping the contract to somebody else. They wired them. Did you have a contract between you? Was it a promissory note between you and this guy for a short term?
Promissory note, mortgage. Yeah. It's
and what was the time frame when you had to pay him back?
Well, it was immediate because it was already sold.
Okay,
so it was like
you had double closing. Okay,
yeah, double
cool.
closing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you made 33 on that deal, and that guy made money. So he was like, this guy Ron Harris is amazing,
right?
And he made some interest for a certain amount, not even interest, it's fees for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've done more business with him after that?
Yeah, he approached me to do some partnership deals to try, because I was doing all these deals, and this guy had the money. He had warehouse lines of credit with other banks. His father was a banker, and I was finding all the deals and short sales and all the other stuff that we were doing. And then, of course, the hardest part of rehabbing and stuff is contractors. This gentleman had another friend, or in his office, I wouldn't say colleague, that was a rehabber. And so the triangle, he approached me and said, let's go, hey, you find the deals, I'll fund them. This guy will rehab them all, and we'll be a nice, happy family, and we can do hundreds of transactions. I said, I'm in. And my wife detected all the warning signs, but all I could see was, I'm not a greedy person, but all I could see was dollar signs.
Sure.
I didn't see the warning
Plus,
signs.
Plus, it sounded fun, too.
It sounded fun. Well, yeah. I mean,
and how were you getting these deals? Were you an active wholesaler? Is that what you started?
We were masters at short sales, and so
you took a course with Corey Boatwright?
Corey Boatwright trained us, and so props to him for that on the short sales. And he actually used to negotiate some of our initial short sales.
Yeah, for a fee, I heard.
Yeah, for a fee, but it was.
But no
who
offense.
Cares? I mean,
no, I'm just saying he used to have a whole short sale business where you find a short sale, you pass it on to them, they negotiate it or handle the transaction.
Outsourcing. I was big time outsourcing. Even back then, I didn't want to do all that negotiation.
No, time.
We would even get deals that his marketing. He taught us how to market. We'd get all this marketing. We'd ask the people for their marketing, and we would see even Corey Boatwright's marketing. So he'd already talked to them, these people that were helping us do short sales, and they always chose me and Angelina. So even Corey would laugh with like, "Hey, we got a deal. We took a deal from you, a lead."
Right.
But he didn't care.
He was probably mass market, and they probably saw genuineness in you.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So short sales to real estate, which with all this knowledge and private money, that's what propelled you to coach people. What made you decide to start helping people and start coaching them? Where'd that light bulb come on?
I've always been a mentor. Even when I was in elementary school, I was always leading people in junior high and high school. I mean, I had people follow me in high school. I was in elementary school leading high school people. Back then, I was manipulating people. Okay, wasn't influencing.
NLP?
Huh? I didn't know anything about NLP, but it just I had a natural talent at that, and I always helped people, but I didn't know it was
hustler.
Hustler?
I don't know, but you were leading people.
Yeah, leading people, and like a lot of us, I understand why we get the teacher bug. But back when I was in 2007 investing. Before that, I said, I can help these interns. Because people kept asking me. They wanted help. I was always having a great time. I had more fun teaching about real estate investing than I did as an IT guy doing events for IT and teaching IT. Something about that real estate was so easy. And I didn't know anything. But yet, I was so excited about it. And so people kept asking for more questions and answers. And it just became natural. I said, all right, I'll set up an internship. They'll give me a little bit. I'll teach them a lot. And then one day, they'll walk out the door on good terms because it's time for them to grow. Mm-hmm. I had no problems, like absolutely. And they would do these deals. I would teach them with all the landmines and everything, and they would quit. They'd make money on their first deal, and they would quit. And so I was like, "What?" Well,
they did a deal though, right? Or no
deal? They would
do
deals. Yeah. They would do deals, wholesale deals, whatever. And they were quitting, and I got burnt out a little bit on mentoring, so I had to take a break.
Did you ever figure out why people were quitting?
Oh yeah. I had to go out and see life coaches and other mentors to teach me to find out what I was doing wrong. And there's 3 things I was doing wrong. I was over-teaching. Creating this high expectation. I wasn't focused enough on the mindset and attitude and goal planning. We said, oh, you know about goal setting? Okay, we just move on. No, now when we coach a mentor, we stay on it for a long time on this kind of things. And the third thing is I wasn't charging. So I was giving it all away for free. So, and that was a deep-seated principle that for me to charge for mentorship it was like me cutting a finger off. I couldn't do it.
I know. I'm like the cheapest guy in the world.
Increase.
I know. Well, I don't really do it as much as I really want to, but time is the essence. What do I go out and buy deals, or do I go out and make people like me. I don't. I mean, I really want to help people. That's why I do the radio show. That's a cool story. All right, so what's going on now? What's your future? 2016. What's your goals? Where you want to go?
We're getting ready for the next bubble. We've been the last cycle when the housing bubble happened. We did all right. I said I have a 6-shooter. I was just shooting them, boom, 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 reload, boom, 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 6 shots. And now I'm telling everyone I can tell, I'm like this my mantra is, guys, get ready. The bubble is coming again. They're doing the exact same stuff. The exact same things are happening. When we were able to buy houses 50 cents on a dollar, rent ready, move in, and I'm a germaphobe, clean, that I would put my face on the carpet clean. I still wash my face, but I could do it as a germaphobe. When you're buying houses half price, that's a glorious day. And so,
Sure.
We're still getting deals today, but it was easy to buy houses. I said, guys, it's coming. The bubble's coming again. Get ready. And so my mantra is, everyone can jump on this bubble and go farther than what we did, because they don't have to have the 6-shooter or the single shotgun. They can have a shotgun or a machine gun. So I always tell people, I'm getting the Gatling gun ready. I've already got one ready. I'm getting the next Gatling gun, because when it pops, we're done. This will be our total, absolute financial freedom. We're done.
So what you're saying is that you're waiting for the market to crash a little bit?
Yeah.
And then you're going to go in like gangbusters. Now, I'm not really familiar, but I know that interest rates are going to go up.
Sure.
Is that what causes the bubble to burst, per se? Because I know right now everything is retail, everything. And, I was talking to an investor today at lunch. He's like, I'll buy anything. I just can't find anything. I'm like, what? I guess people don't buy where I buy, so it's pretty.
Oh.
But I did see
there's deals everywhere still.
There's deals always. But I have seen lately that a lot of property that I would pay is up 40% in the hood. So like a property that was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath that I'd pay $15,000 for. I saw on Facebook, you saw it too, for $28. But it still needed repair. So you're all in at 32. That doesn't make sense. But people are. I was talking to another wholesaler. I'm like, we're watching this property to see if it sells, because who's going to buy this? It's not going to make sense. And so I think, like you're saying, I think they're going to buy it. I'm a real estate investor.
Hobby investor.
They're going to die. They're going to cut their teeth on it. They're going to get it rehab. They're going to over improve it, and then get a tenant in there. They're going to ruin everything. And then, because they didn't vet them out properly.
Unless you have,
they didn't have Angelina
techniques, yeah.
They didn't have Angelina with the gangster Facebook search out, or OCN, and then they're going to sell it to me for 10.
Yeah. Okay. And they're going to fix some of the mechanical stuff that hit.
The sewer line that was 15, but I'll give you 12. But that's just like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's just like I see that happening, but I don't see that anytime soon. What you're talking about, the burst, when does that, I know that the oil field is going to affect some things right now. The market's going to slow down. I think we're going to make it through 2016, but I think a lot of things are going to come in play in 17. But when do you think that, you're gearing up for the burst? When do you think that's going to happen? I'm not holding it to the fire, but what's your
that's a whole nother, we have a whole nother podcast just about the market cycles and stuff. So there we go.
I don't know any cycles. I just buy always.
I think the short answer is you're seeing that the lending is crazy again for investors.
Loosening?
Have been pretty loose.
Yeah, but the rates are going up, I guess.
Yeah, but still, some of my students are getting they're getting funding from the bank. Their very first house, they're getting 100% financing from the bank.
I just saw some docs, 96.5.
We used to beg for loans from banks.
Well, this is owner occupied, but I just saw an FHA and a conventional at 96.5 for owner occupied. I'm like, wow, how are they going to pay this back?
Stated income loans are back.
Wow.
My wife and I said, if that ever comes back, that's crazy. And because my wife's, she's the broker, and she gets all those emails, and she's like, Ron, it's back. And this was about 2 years ago. We're like, you've got to be kidding.
No doc loans.
No doc.
Those are my favorite.
The reason why we survived the last bubble is because I was taught to be very conservative in our investing, and so I would be all in, purchase and rehab and holding costs, 75 cents on a dollar, all in max, because I wanted to go to the bank and get that nice refi at awesome. 70 cents on a dollar.
No, I
love that.
Personally, I run at those numbers myself. I run at 70, and I usually can't go wrong if I got a fire sale. And I built my whole empire based on those numbers. Yeah, I've gotten a little loose with the 75. Yeah, but man, when I see portfolios that are 80, 82, 85%, I'm always just And
Scary.
one of my mentors teaches me that's how you be a real investor. Pull out all your money and let the money flow and recycle it. But still, I like to ride at 70. Banks love you at 55, 65. They think you're amazing if you want to build your portfolio. But that's on another podcast. All right. So you're waiting for that time. What's ETA?
We all think it's going to happen. We thought it was going to probably, of course, it's all guesstimation, but the other word. But we think it's sometime after 2016. We think the elections are going to slow things down, and that's a whole different conversation. But I was part of some of that industry stuff, and I saw things that the government can do whatever they want.
Sure.
And so
they can manipulate the numbers anytime.
Yeah.
All right. So you're a year or so right after the election. That's probably
2017. It could happen anytime. It could happen tomorrow. Who knows? China stuff's going crazy right now. What's going on in China?
Another interesting thing. I've been here for a long time, almost 20 years, and I started looking in. I heard Atlanta, I heard some of Florida had our prices. Well, I met an investor I interviewed not too long ago, Lee Smith, in Indiana. He's getting smoking deals, 3-bedroom for $26,000.
Wow.
Getting $800, $850 a month.
Wow.
I just
that's incredible.
I don't know if it's in the hood. I don't know, but it's pretty fascinating.
I'm not a hood investor. I don't invest in those areas.
Well, the deal is, I thought that Oklahoma was this kept secret. It is one of the top cities to live in, but I'm like, wow, there's other markets out there, and
right.
if they're getting the return, I think it's going to pop sometime. But anyway, that's another podcast. Let's talk about coaching and what's the name of your service that you have. What's it called?
It's called Renascent Mastermind. It's
Renascent?
Renascent or Renaissance. It depends on how you want to say it.
I swear I thought it said Renaissance.
Well, it means born again with new vigor. And so a lot of
Vigor, you mean vigor?
Vigor, vigor, yeah.
What the where's this going? All right, Renaissance man. Tell me more.
Well, think about it. As entrepreneurs, we have successes and failures through life. And so sometimes we get beat down. I got beat down. Man,
sure.
There's times when I've taken break. I took a whole year off to do nothing. And that's a whole different conversation. That's pretty badass. But it's really just getting back into the game again. And so I see a lot of I run an entrepreneur group here locally called OKC Entrepreneur Group. And it was my way and my wife's way of giving back to the community through entrepreneurship and encouraging people to take that leap. And so
just to like what's the mantra? Go out there, make money, or go out there, quit their job, go out there, be financially free. What's
seek financial freedom, seek the financial lifestyle, freedom lifestyle,
through
lifestyle
a business
design.
Of sorts or extra income.
Get out of the rat race. Rich Dad Poor Dad. Go out there and learn how to build a business and not the E-Myth principles. Not go in there and own a business and have a job in your business, but actually create a business that you can do a lot of other things. Because time is our most valuable asset, and I just don't want to be like a lot of people I saw who are working until they're Walmart greeter.
That's also
no assets.
You reminded me of a friend that I gave that someone never heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad. He was a corporate person, and I met him at a volunteer thing, and I gave him Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I've actually seen him read the book, transform, and buy rental property.
That's amazing.
It's rare, but just the gift that you're giving people. That they can be wealthy, they can be financially independent, they can be free.
Right.
And that's why I do this. That's why I wrote my books. That's where I am. I remember these two punk rockers from Tulsa handed me a book in 1999 called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'll never forget them. As soon as I got like my first million or whatever, I ran out there. I'm like, what do you need? And anytime I'm in close proximity of them, I thank them. I wouldn't say worship them, but I'm like, I wouldn't be where I am if you didn't have the balls to buy a $14 book that I never would read. Right. I never would have bought it. I never would have went in Barnes & Noble and bought some back then it's $15, but I didn't read at all. In 1999, I was done with school. School was terrible, kind of like the same motive that you had. And now, think about that you're doing that. And
that gets me up in the morning.
And that's what that's what I'm trying to I was asking Ron earlier, folks out there, what gets you, you have a unique lifestyle, you have a great wife, you have this energy, and you do I don't even know how you do all these meetups. This guy's got a million coffee meetup, entrepreneur meetup, you're speaking on a cruise, you're doing this, you've got coaching, group coaching. I'm like, I can't even do that. And I'm pretty savvy. I'm like, dang. And I just sit back in the shadow and just watch. And I went to your entrepreneur meeting with my first time last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. And it was so cool that first of all, people were late. That kind of pissed me off. Like, you're just dumb if you're late. And if you hear this and you're pissed at me, F you, because you got to come to it. This guy was an amazing speaker, gave his life.
Mr. Outsource, yeah.
Yeah, and he came, and you got to get there early, folks. I was there first. I got there. I was like there's like 4 people when I got there, and I didn't even talk to you because I'm excited about learning. But all those people had an opportunity, that you put on, that no one knows what it takes to put on an event, put in chairs, get the venue,
cost me a bunch of money,
the electricity, and I think you should be commended. And I'm so excited that you're on the show, and I'm just glad that you're passionate for entrepreneurs. And I love the title of a book called Real Estate Entrepreneur Confessions. There's a book out there. You should write that. You should be Confessions of an Entrepreneur.
I'm going to do one. I'm going to do a book.
Yeah, I want to encourage you to do that. And in any way you can, I can help you. But Ron, we're running out of time, but we have to come back to cover more things. So this coaching program, how do we get a hold of you? Is there like the cost? Is it individual? How does it work? Or is it a case-by-case basis on their level of motivation?
You've already answered the question. So yes, it's a case-by-case basis, group coaching, individual coaching. It's renascentmastermind.com.
Spell it.
RENASCENT Mastermind, MASTERMIND.com.
And is there a phone number? You got a Google Voice number out there?
I don't even know my own phone number. I outsource all that. You just go through the website and it filters. That's
all right. Or you
design.
come to my website and I'll put you in contact. Ron's very savvy on Facebook
filtering.
So,
yeah,
and he that's how I communicate with this guy. I'm like, dude, and we need to hook up. And the only way he responded was through Facebook. So communicate with Ron. If you're an entrepreneur and you're tired of or you're not even an entrepreneur, but you're tired of your job, your paycheck to paycheck, and you know that you have gifts and talents or creativity inside of you and someone suppressed that, get with Ron, get with me. We'll put you in the right place to start living your dream and start pursuing a better future. And I think you and Angelina have the passion and the heart. I can't wait to see if you guys ever have kids because things are going to change.
That's the next big project. Working on it. I'm practicing on that.
But you can't outsource that.
That's why I'm working on it.
Oh, no. Man, it's been a pleasure. It's been so fast, 30 minutes to swing by. But Ron, I'm glad you're here on the show, and I can't wait to have you back.
Will be. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Investor Weekend is not far off, with over 10 information sessions to increase your portfolio. Log on to www.investorweekend.com. Whether you are a seasoned investor or never purchased a property before, you don't want to miss the Investor Weekend. Join us for a powerful, knowledge-packed weekend with over 10 informational sessions that are bound to enlarge your real estate investments. You will hear from the best national and local real estate investors that will share practical and relevant experiences with you, the investor. There will be several networking sessions to connect with other like-minded people for potential funding, partnerships, and yes, hot deals. Go to www.investorweekend.com. Did you know we meet once a month for the Landlord Lunch Meeting? The third Wednesday of every month. Go to landlordlunch.com.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter @LandlordBook and always be buying assets.